Look, I realise I never really thanked you properly for tipping me off about those dragons.
Forget about it. I'm sure you would have done the same for me.
Exactly. You know the prefect's bathroom on the 5th floor? It's not a bad place for a bath. Just take your egg and mull things over in the hot water.
Hello and welcome to Harry Potter, the official film podcast, as we continue our journey through the films and ask, what does Ron's great aunt Tessie actually smell like? I'm Rhianna Dhillon, lifelong Harry Potter superfan, film critic and broadcaster, and I'm very curious about the elaborate jacuzzi settings on the massive tub in the prefect's bathroom. Today, we're diving into the second half of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. By my side again as we move towards the conclusion of the fourth film, it's the crumb to my fleur. It's actor and content creator Mike Bow. Hi, Mike.
Oh, merci.
How you doing?
Very good. Excited to dive into the second half. I think I like this half better.
Yeah, well, we get some meaty answers in this, don't we?
Yeah, right. Yeah, the reveals.
Yeah, It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I know that you've been to loads of Harry Potter related sets. You've been on locations. What's been a highlight for you? What have you loved the most?
Right. So there's a lot of actual filming locations that are in Oxford. So Oxford University was used as a lot of the stairwell that McGonagall leads them up in the first years, the hallways, also the tree that Draco turns into a ferret underneath. So I recreated all of those scenes there. It's honestly an out-of-body experience because you're like, it happened here. And it's, none of this stuff is real, but it's in a way it's more real to us because it's like history happened here, This is where Harry was and where Draco was and where Mad-Eye was.
I love that you're history happened here and it's the filming of Harry Potter at Oxford University, the oldest universities in the world. All right, let's pick up where we left off for the second half of Goblet of Fire. Asleep in bed after the Yule Ball, Harry is once again trapped in one of his vivid, scar-burning nightmares. This time he's not just observing, he's actually there. Harry jolts awake only to be greeted by Neville, back late from the dance. Neville! The next day, Harry and Hermione are on the bridge talking through two mysteries. Hermione's suddenly very real relationship with Victor Crumb and Harry's very real situationship with a screaming golden egg. Thankfully, Cedric Diggory appears and offers a helpful hint. Take the egg for a soak in the prefect's bathroom. All right, Cedric, it's tub time.
I'd try putting it in the water if I were you.
Myrtle!
Oh, hello, Harry. Long time no see. I was circling a blocked drain the other day and could swear I saw a bit of Polyjuice potion. Not being a bad boy again, are you, Harry?
Polyjuice potion? Kick the habit. Myrtle, did you say try putting it in the water?
I really like that. It's such a throwaway moment, but Harry saying that he kicked the habit when it came to the Polyjuice potion, because we know that someone is actually using Polyjuice potion. It's like a little Easter egg or golden egg.
Well done.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. And also it's Daniel Radcliffe's penchant for comedy.
Yeah.
He's adding little things there. Yeah.
He's so sassy.
Yeah.
I love it when Harry gets sassy. It's my favourite thing. So thanks to some very sage advice from Moaning Myrtle, Harry drops the egg in the water and the ear-splitting screech turns into a song. The message is obvious, if not potentially problematic. When was the last time you held your breath for an hour?
30 seconds ago.
The night before the task, our golden trio is unprepared, classic, and in the library, also classic. Mad-Eye shows up and tells Ron and Hermione to go to McGonagall's office, suspicious, but conveniently leaves Neville to help Harry with his books. Our herbology king tells Harry of a magical plant called gillyweed that lets you breathe underwater. Let's give Neville some props here. We talked about him having a bigger role, and it's supposed to be Dobby that gives Harry the gillyweed in the books, but actually I really love that it's Neville.
And then his iconic line too, oh my god, I killed Harry Potter! Potter. Like that, love that.
It's a really good because, again, we're seeing more of his strengths coming through. So he's always like laughed at for being a bit of a loser. And even in Prisoner of Azkaban, he was like the comic relief and, you know, the why is it always me from Chamber of Secrets. And now he's actually being useful. He's becoming part of the ensemble. I am really excited for the conclusion of this film. Are you ready to get in the water?
Yes, let's go.
Come on, place your bets, come on. Come on, step it, mates, don't be shy.
3 hands.
1 lady.
4 go down.
With the 4 come up.
Don't be so mean.
Go on,
Any
flash,
bets,
10
please,
to 1.
On the morning of the second task, Ron and Hermione are nowhere to be seen, but Neville is by Harry's side to pump him up and distribute the gillyweed. When it's time to dive into the lake, Harry eats the gillyweed, immediately begins sprouting gills, and oh my God, I've just realised. Oh my God. I never realised that's why it's called gillyweed.
Yeah, gillyweed.
That's wild that I never realised that. Incredible. So he completely misses the starting cannon. Moody kicks him into the lake, but can you do your Neville impression again for me?
Oh my God, I got Harry Potter.
Yeah, and then Dean Thomas utters the most accurate line. I can't see him. Yeah, none of them can. No one can see.
Yeah, it's called the Black Lake. What were you expecting?
Underwater Harry is in full scuba mode as he follows that eerie mermaid song deep into the lake. And down there, he discovers the twist. The hostages that they're meant to rescue are all people they care about the most. Ron, Hermione, Cho, and Gabrielle Delacour, Fleur's little sister. They're all tied up underwater and the clock is ticking. This is genuinely terrifying. How would you react in this situation?
I think water danger is particularly bad because you can't do anything. Because everything around you can get to you faster.
Right. Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. So I gave you a new fear now. So,
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, even the Crumb coming in as the shark is terrifying.
Yeah,
you know?
it really is.
Yeah.
Because you don't see his legs, first of all. He's like partially transformed.
Which is scarier.
Yeah.
However, the behind the scenes of them shooting seemed so much fun. Daniel Radcliffe filmed in a tank and they had all these like fun signs and like scuba, and they can only film for like 11 seconds at a time for safety.
Right.
So they kept having to give him air and then go out. It's like the ultimate what if fantasy. It's like, oh, I'm pretending I can just live underwater.
Have you ever acted underwater?
Not when the cameras are rolling. Like when I'm like
just in the bath, just in the prefect's bathroom.
Or when I'm in the pool, I'm just like, you know, I feel like you ever try to talk underwater?
Yeah,
it's like, it's like, but doing that for like a whole scene, that's awesome.
Daniel Radcliffe actually does a really great job because he shows like fear, curiosity. He has to do so much in the scene, all while underwater. And it was like 42 hours they spent filming this.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy amount for one sequence. So to prepare for this, he like trained for like 6 months. No wonder he was so rubbish at the dancing.
Right. This is what he was doing.
Yeah.
Instead of going to McGonagall's Bibbling Babbling Baboons Club. Yeah.
And the tank thing, you talked about him like filming in the tank. It was 60 feet long, it was 20 feet deep, and it took them 3 months to build the tank.
Wow.
That's a really long time. Even in like film world, that's a really long time. So Bubblehead charmed Cedric, frees Cho, and Victor, who, as we said, has partially transfigured himself into a shark, frees Hermione. Harry frees Ron, but realises that Gabrielle is still trapped and refuses to leave her behind, which is classic Harry. If there's someone in danger, he's rescuing them, whether or not the rules say he can. On the way back up, things get messy. Grindylows grab Harry, the gillyweed starts wearing off, and he starts sinking towards the bottom until a last-minute Ascendio rockets him back to the surface. The judges award points. Cedric technically wins the task, but Harry earns second place for what Dumbledore calls outstanding moral fibre. As the crowd disperses, Barty Crouch Sr. and his toothbrush moustache congratulates Harry and even talks quite warmly about the Potters, his parents. It's the first time that we've sort of seen him soften, but then the moment turns really weird when Mad-Eye interrupts them and Crouch seems so suspicious of this twitchy-tongued Moody and heads off towards the forest, which turns out to be a terrible idea. On a celebratory stroll through the Forbidden Forest, Harry's scar starts burning and he discovers Barty Crouch Sr. lying dead on the ground. Now, this is actually quite a massive difference between the book and the film.
Yep.
Because in the book, we don't know that Barty Crouch Sr. is dead.
Right.
He just disappears.
Right.
And in the lead up to that, he's acting really weirdly.
Yeah.
And it's because he's been Imperioed and he's like fighting against the Imperious curse.
Right.
But in this, I don't think he's been imperious.
Right. I don't think so either.
Necessarily.
Yeah.
So in Dumbledore's office, Harry overhears Cornelius Fudge refusing to cancel the tournament despite Crouch's death. And he also casts aspersions over Madame Maxime's character, which I think seems very harsh. The adults leave the office and Harry stays behind, attacked by some rowdy licorice snap. So weird. And gets sucked into Dumbledore's Pensieve. In the memory, he witnesses a trial at the Ministry from years earlier, where Barty Crouch Sr., amongst other officials, are interrogating Death Eaters after the fall of Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
A former Death Eater, Igor Karkaroff, is naming other Death Eaters to avoid Azkaban. When Severus Snape falls from his lips, we're surprised and also not surprised at all. But according to Dumbledore, Snape turns spy to help bring down the Dark Lord. Then a second shock. Karkaroff names Barty Crouch Jr. as the Death Eater accused of torturing Aura's Frank and Alice Longbottom, Neville's parents, with the Cruciatus Curse. And in the memory, despite his attempts to escape, Barty Crouch Jr. is dragged away to Azkaban while his father publicly disowns him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of information we're getting in the Pensieve.
Yeah.
What stood out to you? What shocked you the most?
Oh, Igor Karkaroff. Barty Crouch Jr. Are you kidding me? What a great line delivery. I love
good.
that.
Yeah.
And then like actually keep bangers for quotes because he says that and then it reveals to be, Doctor Who.
David Tennant.
Yeah, David Tennant comes out and then he's like, hello, father. And then right after that, Barty Crouch, you are no son of mine. Like we get banger
Yeah.
quote. I say those quotes in everyday life.
You say you're no son of mine to who exactly?
To my roommate, to my brother.
Right. And it's true because they really aren't your sons.
Yeah.
You're being accurate.
Accurate.
I think with Snape being revealed as a Death Eater, it does feel like quite vindicating for all of the times that Harry, Ron and Hermione have been so suspicious of him.
Yeah. He
is so much a bully that he was a literal Death Eater. This is the first time we find out that he was part of Voldemort's inner circle.
Yeah.
Is that not really shocking?
No, right. Because as we said, kind of previous episode, how Hermione's having her journey, with subplot basically of like going into her womanhood. Mm-hmm. Snape is also having this subplot throughout the movie with Karkaroff. Like we keep seeing them having these awkward interactions.
Yeah.
And then this is the head of it. It was like the climax of that. It was like, oh, that's why Karkaroff keeps bothering Snape.
Yeah.
Because they were partners.
Yes, but also the fact that Karkaroff tried to out him.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have bad
snitch on
blood
him.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's so funny too because Dumbledore just says it so quickly. But as watching in the story, you're like, oh, that is a lore drop. Like, ooh, bam. Not only he's a double agent.
Yeah.
And then more of that, when Karkaroff is like the torture of the or Frank Longbottom and his wife. That's also a big lore drop. Okay, Longbottom's our family is actually bigger in this world than we realize. That's some juicy information.
Yeah. It's really messed up.
Yeah.
And again, we get a bit more of David Tennant and it get this really brilliant performance from him. And again, I feel like in the books, we never know really if Barty Crouch Jr. did it or not until the end. It's really ambiguous.
Yeah.
And in this, he's just pure evil. He does not regret a thing. Back in the present, Harry tells Dumbledore his unsettling dreams about Barty Crouch Jr. and Voldemort, and how the dreams feel more like witnessing real events than just his imagination. Dumbledore urges Harry to cast these visions out of his mind, although it's clear that he's worried as well. Not long after, Harry stumbles upon Snape and Karkaroff arguing, like you just said, and the two former Death Eaters are looking extremely sus. Karkaroff is terrified about something. It's a sign, Severus. You know what this means. And Snape then turns on Harry and accuses him of stealing Polyjuice potion ingredients, even threatening to use Veritaserum on him. But if it's not Harry, who could it be? Don't you think that Snape should just be a little bit more adept at realizing that Mad-Eye is a bit weird and a bit off?
It goes to show how good Voldemort's plan was because everyone's getting fooled.
Yeah.
In fact, Barty Crouch Jr. is MVP Death Eater.
He's a great actor.
He was the most successful.
Yeah.
He was the most successful Death Eater. He no one saw this.
Mm-hmm. And he God, I was just going to say he's never given his flowers. Why would you? But equally, he is a great Death Eater.
Yeah. Is there Slytherin showing right now? He's great. He's so good at lying and manipulating.
Why is Snape so obsessed with it being Harry? He's got he's so blinded by his hatred of Harry that it's stopping him from seeing literal dark wizards in front of him.
Snape is a legilimens. I think also Barty Crouch Jr. Deciding to polyjuice as Mad-Eye was smart because so many good guys so many former bad guys are afraid of Mad-Eye because he's such a ruthless, dark wizard hunter.
Yeah.
So maybe that's, benefit of the doubt. That's why they're kind of like not sticking around him because Mad-Eye is just like angry at anybody who is possibly related to Voldemort.
Yes. He's also very unpredictable.
Yeah.
The character of Mad-Eye is completely unpredictable and does do really weird off-the-wall things and is a bit kind of crazy.
It was smart.
Also, can I say I love this exchange between Snape and Harry because we just don't see much of Snape in this film. So when we do, it's such a treat. Alan Rickman is so brilliant and he's so full of disdain for Harry and it's just fun. It's just fun to watch. So before Harry has time to process any of this, it's time for the final task. Cue the band. The champions gather in the arena, the crowds cheer. Cedric's dad is in attendance to watch his son in the final. Dumbledore announces the challenge, a massive hedge maze filled with magical obstacles. First to reach the Triwizard Cup at the centre wins. Simple enough, right? Something that I only noticed on this rewatch was how Filch is always really trigger happy with the cannons each time.
Yes.
Right?
He never
lets
coordinated
Dumbledore
with
get to 3.
Dumbledore. Yeah.
It's just a really small, silly moment. But it's just so funny.
That's why Dumbledore's so distraught. He's like, Filch, come on!
God damn it. Inside the maze, shifting hedges and psychological confusion cause chaos for the champions. Victor Crumb, he's suddenly on like evil autopilot, attacks Fleur and she's dragged away by the hedge maze. Later, Victor nearly curses Cedric before Harry intervenes. He's bewitched Cedric! After a struggle, Harry and Cedric work together to reach the centre of the maze. The cup sits between them. They agree very nobly to take it together, locking in a joint win. They grab the cup at the same time and it activates. The cup is a portkey. We've been here before. The boys land in the graveyard in Little Hangleton, which Harry recognises as the creepy place from his recurring nightmares. Within seconds, Wormtail appears carrying the horrifying fetus-like form of Voldemort. And before Harry or Cedric can react, Voldemort gives a single chilling order. Do you want to give it?
Kill the spare.
R.I.P. Cedric Diggory, our handsome Hufflepuff prince. Wormtail performs a dark ritual using flesh, bone, and blood. The potion erupts and Voldemort rises again, now a full-sized, noseless threat with some of Harry's blood coursing through his veins. Finally, we see Ralph Fiennes' full-body Voldemort. What was your first impression?
Why isn't he on the back of Quirrell's head? What's happening? What's happening? No, it was really cool. When he first transforms, he has his, like his John Hamm moment. I actually think he looks like super scary on the way in, like because he almost has like super like reptilian as he's transforming.
For people listening to the podcast only, Mike is moving his face in a very weird way.
Yeah. He like his cheeks are sunken in.
Yeah.
He looked more human than I thought he would. And then and that was a movie choice. Like they decided to not give him red eyes.
I think it works.
I don't know. It does work.
I like that we get to keep the human element because it's a reminder that after all, he is only human. And it's so easy to forget that in amongst everything else. But that becomes a really important thing.
Yeah.
He's just a man.
And then again, more iconic quotes from him, like when he's explaining like the real reason why Harry won that night when he was a baby. He was like, "That's old magic. Something I should have foreseen." Like we're like, ooh, old magic. I want to know about this old magic.
Yeah. What about like the way that he flourishes his wand? What do you think about like the kind of underarm versus overarm? Because he very much goes overarm, whereas I feel like most people would go underarm with their wands.
Yeah. It's very aggressive.
It's so aggressive.
Very aggressive. I'm an underarm.
Yeah.
So I like underarm better.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think also it takes more effort to do an overarm.
Yeah, it's very, very, very tough. But you know what? He's very angry at Harry. He's been waiting for 13 years for this. You know?
He's very resentful.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. And he wants to like show off to his Death Eaters.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Like that he still got it, you know?
And he does summon them. He summons his Death Eaters who apparate into the graveyard and are revealed to be people we already know. Executioner McNair, Daddy Crab, Daddy Goyle, and, shock of the century, it's Daddy Malfoy and his luscious silver hair. With his posse revealed, Voldemort sadistically turns his attention back to Harry, and it's time for a duel.
Mm-hmm.
Harry casts Expelliarmus, Voldemort casts Avada Kedavra, and their twin core wands connect, triggering the reverse spell effect or Priori Incantatum.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostly echoes of Voldemort's victims emerge, and their familiar faces surround the dueling pair to protect Harry, including his parents and Cedric. And these ghostly reinforcements buy Harry just enough time to grab the portkey, and he escapes back to Hogwarts, clutching Cedric's dead body. It does feel a bit when Harry casts Expelliarmus and Voldemort does Avada Kedavra. It kind of feels like Harry's bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what spell would you have used in that instance?
Right, something way more aggressive.
Right?
I guess Expelliarmus can seemingly disarm anything if it can disarm the killing curse, you know? Right, because there's so many, like, I guess we haven't seen it yet, but like Sectum Sempra,
yeah.
Like the cutting spell.
Yeah, like Defindo or like Bombarda. Yeah.
Oh, I love Bombarda.
Oh, I love Bombarda.
Yeah.
It's just fun to say.
You know what I love better? Bombarda
Maxima.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really funny moment. Did you see like there's like a Death Eater like clapping in the background when they go toe to toe?
No, I missed that.
So funny. I just love it.
Yeah.
Just like pretend clapping.
Oh, also, I remember watching this when I was a kid because, you know, Crabbe and Goyle, right?
Yes.
Obviously, Draco's henchmen. I didn't, because Draco always calls them Crabbe and Goyle.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, that's their first names.
Right, yeah,
So when the first time he goes, Crabbe, Goyle, I'm like, that's not Crabbe and Goyle.
Yeah.
What is he calling them Crabbe and Goyle? So I remember being confused.
And
there.
then it was like, oh, the dads.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that they, of course, they're already people we know. Of course, they're all Slytherins.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the circle seems really small. But because most of them are in Azkaban.
Yeah.
So they're still
so.
yet to come, like Bellatrix et al.
Right.
So yeah, there's plenty more to come that aren't just like parents of Hogwarts students.
Yeah.
These are just the ones that managed to get away with it. The band starts up before anyone realises what's happening, but the celebration quickly turns into horror. Fudge tries to cover up the severity of the situation. Harry is completely broken and in shock, screaming, "He's back! Voldemort's back!" And Amos Diggory fights through the crowd, crying, "My boy!" Mad-Eye takes Harry away to his office, but something feels off. Mad-Eye presses Harry for details about Voldemort and then lets slip information that he should not know. Dumbledore, Snape and McGonagall all come looking for Harry and then slip Mad-Eye some Veritaserum and the truth comes out. Mad-Eye Moody has actually been Barty Crouch Jr. in Polyjuice disguise all year, while the real Moody was imprisoned in the trunk in his office. Barty Crouch Jr. confesses to everything, that he orchestrated every step of the tournament, all to ensure that Harry reached the portkey that would take him straight to Voldemort. This reveal was, the first time I read about it, and then, of course, seeing it again in the film, it's so horrifying. The layers, and when you go back and you think about everything that Mad-Eye has done through the lens of him being Barty Crouch, it's so wild. I think it's one of the biggest shocks of the whole series for me. Didn't see it coming.
No one did. It was a great like murder mystery. Here's how I did it.
Yes.
When it's revealed where Mad-Eye Moody was the whole time in the chest, in the movie, it was fun because when the chest moves earlier in the movie and Harry's like notices it, and the Mad-Eye's like, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you what was in there." Like that's a fun, like, oh my God, that's funny because we know what's in there. Like the way he said that, and he made it into like a funny moment. But it's like, oh shoot, that's my real Mad-Eye.
Yeah. So in the Great Hall, Dumbledore tells the school the truth, that Cedric Diggory was murdered, Voldemort has returned, and dark times lie ahead. As the year comes to a close and the visiting schools depart, Krum says goodbye to Hermione and Fleur bids adieu to Ron. And as the trio watches the visiting students leave, Hermione asks the question that hangs over pretty much the rest of the series. Everything's going to change now, isn't it? And Harry simply answers, yes.
I always think that's so funny because she's like, oh, like this obvious thing is going to happen. And Harry's like, duh.
It's a weighty yes. It's like, yes, like this is it. Like we are not children anymore. It's like we are on the cusp of war, which is for 14-year-olds horrifying. What is your do you have like a favorite scene or a moment in the second half of Goblet of Fire?
I think I quoted it sufficiently. It's the courtroom scene.
Like I said, I love any scene with Snape, but I really love the conversation right at the end that Dumbledore has with Harry, where he essentially apologizes to him. And I feel like Dumbledore has to do a lot of that over the next few films.
Yes.
But this is like the first time he's like coming like normally it's Harry kind of seeking out Dumbledore or having these moments in his office. So this is like the first time that Dumbledore actually comes to Harry, like comes to his like living quarters. He comes to the Gryffindor common room.
Yeah.
So this feels like a real sea change between them, and it's a really grown up conversation. It does, yeah, just for me just feels like a shift, and it's just a really lovely moment between the two actors. Also, Fleur kissing Ron, brilliant.
Yeah, so that's a nice arc for Ron because he's like afraid of Fleur and girls, and then in the end, Fleur's a fan of him.
Okay, we've got to check the post because an owl has arrived and it's definitely going to trigger some discussion.
Okay.
This is a burning question from Erin Kay from New York. Is the Triwizard Tournament a spectator sport? Because it doesn't seem like it. Maybe the first task had the crowd in mind, but ultimately not super well designed, as Harry's dragon breaks free of its chains and chases him all around the castle while everyone is left just watching nothing in the stands. I do love that bit because they all just are like looking in the air, waiting for him to come back. The second task is underwater for an hour, so the crowd just had to wait to see who popped up first. And the final task is in a giant hedge maze that is, again, literally unwatchable. What's the deal? Must have been the most boring competition to watch. What were people doing in the meantime? Listening to the marching band and little else? Surely the game designers could have come up with some better ideas. I think this is a very fair question.
Yeah,
Aaron.
it is very fair.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, everyone, to quote Dudley from the first movie,
Yeah.
this is boring. That's probably what's going on. That or, Dumbledore made some wizard cameras that were like all, jumbotroning it.
That's very like the Running Man, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like following them around. Where they're omnioculars.
Exactly.
I think because like the Quidditch World Cup has such a great atmosphere. Everybody's like laughing, joking, enjoying that. So is it just that, but without the spectator aspect? They're just like having hot dogs in the stands and just chatting.
Or maybe during discussion, like while they're waiting for them to come back, they're like, "Oh, this is why we canceled the tournament." It's boring.
It's rubbish.
Yeah. No. Oh wait, no one actually died last time. we died of boredom.
Yeah, we died of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know the twins are obviously just like putting bets on everyone anyway.
Yeah,
that's all they do in this film. It's just like lay odds on Fleur.
And then they can say whatever they want happen.
Yeah,
like trust us. There was a Sphinx in there. Trust us. There totally wasn't.
But Erin, you're absolutely right. This is not a spectator sport. You are correct. We want to hear from you. Keep an eye out on our socials at Harry Potter for your chance to send in your favourite moments, your burning questions, and of course, your hottest takes.
Jake Dumbledore, what's happened?
He's back. He's back. Voldemort's back. Cedric, he asked me to bring his body back. I couldn't leave him.
So short-lived, but much loved, Cedric's character arc has such a massive impact on the whole series. We are required to discuss Cedric's death. It's the first time that we witness a student being killed on screen. How shocking was it the first time you saw this?
What struck me was Amos Diggory's reaction.
Yeah.
Because, my boy, my son, that's my boy. That's heartbreaking.
It's so good. Jeff Rawle, the actor, does it so beautifully. It's like the purest moment of grief, like the immediacy of it. The fact that you see him celebrating when they both land, like both him and Arthur Weasley, and then your heart is already breaking for him knowing what's about to come.
Yeah. Amos is so proud of his son to a fault, right? And we're almost supposed to be annoyed at it, right? Because Harry's like, okay, dude,
he's so biased.
Biased. So, but that's more heartbreaking. That pride of for his son and like all that hope is just snuffed out,
Yeah. How do you think that this whole thing affects Harry then going forward? Like the fact that he has to bring Cedric's body back, like having even like a slightly odd conversation with Cedric's departed soul.
Even if he didn't feel guilt about telling Cedric to touch the portkey, the whole reason Voldemort's there is because of Harry.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I don't want anyone to... Harry wants to rescue people, like you said. He doesn't want to put more people in danger. And his presence is literally doing that. And now causing people to die.
It's also like the kind of... I guess it's the first proper realization that Voldemort now has like a body, he's real, like all of this, it's not dreams anymore, it's his reality, the kind of tangible, physical being of Voldemort. This feels like such a hinge movie, right, of the whole series. And it's not just that it's the halfway point, but just the fact that the beginning, and we're so on the cusp of the next stage of like their entire existence.
Yeah.
War, everything takes place in this graveyard. It's a really defining moment for Harry and for the whole film series. And it's the first time that we get a truly unhappy ending in Harry Potter as well. I mean, there are lighter moments towards the end of the movie, but it truly is it's an unhappy ending, and they just keep coming thick and fast now. Editing plays a crucial role in condensing this sprawling mystery and multiple subplots of the novel into a very fast-moving narrative. So I want to talk about how those rapid transitions and the cross-cutting between tasks and school life and rising danger keeps the story propulsive. So the Triwizard tasks are some of the biggest action sequences in the whole series. Which task do you think is edited most effectively for tension?
Ooh. Good question. I think the dragon. Yeah, the dragon challenge, especially in the beginning when you're hearing the audio of what's happening with the other champions when Harry's like waiting in the wings in the tent.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. It is incredibly tense, and we sort of, because he does get hurt, and it's not just like smooth sailing the whole time.
Right.
And I think it's so the way that it kind of chops between him like scrabbling around, we're like not really confident in his abilities at that point, and then as soon as he's on the broom, we kind of like breathe a sigh of relief, and then he's in trouble again. I just think it's a really good, I kind of really like that we have no idea where this is going.
Yeah, and intercutting with like those dang broom pedals getting trapped on the board, and he's trying to get it out and like rolling down. Like all that is pure movie making. That wasn't in the book.
So I got to sit down with one of the magic makers who brought Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire to life, film editor Mick Audsley. So let's see what he had to say. Mick Audsley, welcome to Harry Potter, the official film podcast. Thank you so much for being on.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure.
We spoke to Mike Newell on the last episode, and he was telling us so many great little stories about what was happening on set, behind the scenes, etc. And I'd love to hear about your working relationship and how it helps to kind of facilitate a really fun atmosphere offset as well as on set.
Well, absolutely. I had been lucky enough to have known Mike for quite a few years. I think I first worked with him in 1984 on a wonderful film called Dance with a Stranger. That was my first with Mike. And so we knew each other very well, and it helps when you know each other's families and the kind of professional marriage that goes with film editing. So doing the Potter film together was nothing but a pleasure. And there were many personal connections. Well, David Heyman, for example, the producer, I had worked for his mother, so I knew David's family. So there were all these connections made the process of making that particular film feel like a family affair from my point of view. In the case, doing a franchise film, as it were, that we were number 4, so there were the 3 previous films which were all terrific, and I had incidentally worked for 2 months on number 2 because the editor wasn't available. David had asked me to cut the film to help a colleague of mine out. I did what I call a guest appearance at the beginning of number 2. So I was given 2 sequences. So I kind of knew the world a little bit by the time that time later. So that was great.
We've talked about how the Goblet of Fire, the film, obviously has to lose a lot that's from the book. So what was the sort of philosophy between you and Mike Newell about what needed to go, what needed to stay, what was sort of serving the emotional journey?
I mean, this is an interesting debate, which we could probably talk for 3 weeks about the relationship between books and films. From my point of view as the editor of the movie, you've got to make the best movie and hope, and we were always given license, make the best film. Its relationship to the book does not have to be, forgive the pun, literal, as it were. You're making the movie work on its own terms because the process of viewing a film or watching a film is its own experience, and it's an immersive experience in the cinema. We are conscious of the legacy of this incredible piece of work, but at the same time, we have the freedom to follow our gut instincts about how to make the movie tick and work on its own terms. And I had that from the get-go with Mike, from David, from all the other people involved, was encouraging us to follow our instincts to make the best possible movie.
The film is sort of juggling a tournament, there's a mystery, there's this impending sense of doom that we're getting throughout. So how did you think about what the audience sort of needs to track versus what they can just feel?
You're constantly balancing, in editorial terms, the emphasis or the way you tell the story as a seesaw between what the audience needs to know that you give them or what you hold back, because the anticipation of things is what provides tension in movies. So an audience is, kids or anybody, it doesn't matter. It's the way movies work, in my opinion, is supplying information clearly, which triggers in the audience's mind what may or may not happen. That has to be very clearly set up. That gives you a sense of foreboding if you care about the characters, which you do in this case, goodies and baddies, if you like. Yeah. And so your anticipation of the outcomes of these narrative strands, if they're clearly set up in the audience's mind, become the reason why we want to watch the next bit. What happens next is very, very important to be the question in the audience's mind. And you only achieve that by setting up conditions where they clearly understand the possibilities. And that's a balance of character issues, how are they going to react to this or that, and building block narrative issues, which are to do with, if they do this, this will happen. If they don't do that, that will happen. So this seesaw of things that should go on in the audience's head is absolutely paramount to the audience's engagement. Whether they're 6, 7, 8 years old or they're, 95, it doesn't matter. It's the way stories work, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I'm really interested in what you were saying about you helped edit a little bit of Chamber of Secrets. Just thinking about like the consistency in the world, because in Goblet of Fire, as with each film, the world that we get to know grows a little bit bigger each time. How do you approach that compared to if we are in a completely kind of separate set that we've never been to before?
That was a wonderful sort of freedom in a way that you didn't have to do quite the same setting up work because the audience knew it. Although I know that one of the things in my sort of notes to self, as it were make sure that this film works, even if, in this case, the audience has not seen the previous 3. But in a way, I then soon realized, actually, when we sort of tested the film, probably people that were seeing the film were going to know the whole legacy of not only the books. So it was a very unique position. It did change the way we looked at things, I think, because people knew the sets, they knew the school, they knew a lot of stuff. It became clear to me quite soon that we fell on the favorable side of that fence, and that probably people were going to know perhaps a lot more than I did.
I think it's safe to say that Harry Potter fans do know the most.
Exactly.
Of anybody. Did you have like sort of, not necessarily like tricks, but did you have things that were helpful when it came to having to compress so much story into a feature-length film? I
know we often rethought ideas, and because of the length of the shoot, ideas developed thanks to Mike and Steve, Clovis, and all these people involved. We were constantly reviewing what I was making, and as the whole thing built, of how we could, and David condoned this all the time, was to keep the writing process continues in the editing of the movie. Because things like the chase over Hogwarts was something that came about. My wonderful friend, Jimmy Mitchell, who was the visual effects supervisor, he was an enormous help to me dealing with, in those days, visual effects, editing things you can't see, dragons, for example. And so, we originally, that sequence was going to take place in a forest, with the dragon. And so at the time, Mike and Jimmy said, why don't we set it over Hogwarts? And so we could use the model and shoot it with much more freedom. And so these ideas were all developing as we were shooting other parts, really, because if you have a year's shoot, then there was time to explore things, having looked at early drafts of sequences. So that's a privilege.
I think Goblet of Fire also has that unique thing where there is a lot of story to get through, but of course it's one of the most visually stunning films as well, because you have these incredible spectacles of the tasks themselves.
Yeah.
And, it is not necessarily driving the story on with each shot, but we need to be really immersed in each one and feel the danger and feel the tension, etc.
Exactly.
So, and I know that Dan filmed so many hours for the Black Lake scene. How did you edit all of that together?
It took a long time. The one thing I must say about all of them, Dan, all of them, the kids, as I call them. Now, of course, that sounds rather patronizing. You know what I mean? Dan and Emma and everybody, Rupert, they were so willing to literally throw themselves into anything. So the underwater stuff was a big tank actually near my cutting room. So I was constantly running backwards and forwards between Mike doing perhaps main unit stuff and Pete Mac doing second unit, and how we would fit all these bits together. So it was a conversation, I think. I'm not going to paint a picture of it being easy, this jigsaw puzzle, because it took a long time and a lot of work to kind of pull all these strands together for all the physical reasons and storytelling reasons and so on. But because there was such a good communication, I think largely from above, producership, look, do what you need to do. The quality of the film is what we care about. And so they would always applaud the effort we took, all the time we took to solve those issues. The kids were amazing that they were dunked into a swimming pool and they had divers and breathing. I mean, all the safety and health and safety was, I'm sure, being stretched to the limits. But I do remember, also just little things, assembling the sequences. Dan would come around. We set up a little recording studio and said, Dan, I need you to speak underwater. And he said, look, I'll just put my head in the water and say the line. I mean, they were willing to do anything. God bless them.
Were there any instances of sequences or scenes that you remember having to really trim, or, that maybe felt a little bit baggy, then you're like, no, we need to be a little bit more brutal with the editing of this?
One of the stressful parts of this sort of film, or certainly was then, I think, the business of having to commit shots that have been shot perhaps only a few days earlier quite quickly to cut them to a particular length in order for the long process of digitally creating the additional visual information is very stressful from a film editor's point of view, because basically it's a bit like a sculptor chips off a block and when it's gone, that's it. You can't really go back and add a bit. So I would have sleepless nights worrying about, say, the dragon sequence, because I hadn't seen what the dragon would look like. Jimmy Mitchell and Mike very much held my hand and helped me sort of walk through the best way. And I think that particular sequence, shots would come back which were made with incredible artistry around the world, digital artists and so on. But David and Mike said, look, if the sequence doesn't require that shot now, 9 months later, take it out. It's the overall movement of the film, the clarity of the film, and the experience, the immersive experience that needs to lead. That was a great sort of freedom from an editor's point of view. And also, again, with performances, it's an old thing. You think, oh, gosh, it's a lovely performance, but I've got to take it out, because of this, and this. And so going back to this feeling of a close-knit sort of filmmaking collaboration, having that sense that you're secure in being able to follow your narrative instincts was enormously rewarding and just great.
When you kind of look back at the Goblet of Fire, do you have a scene that you are particularly proud of, or one that kind of really stands out to you?
I haven't got an individual scene, if I'm honest, but I'm very proud of the collaborative requirements that were necessary to deliver things like the dragon scene or the underwater scenes, because of the technical that you touched on a minute ago, the technical process of developing those narratives and making them work in the movie, and all the incredible contributions from so many people. That's what I'm proud of, is that we all managed to share creating those hopefully memorable scenes. Because, for example, Stuart Craig was very involved in the design, right down to the mer people and all that. We would discuss these things on a daily basis. So if I'm proud of anything, it's the collaborative part of it.
That's a lovely note to end on. Thank you so much, Mick, for talking to us.
Thank you very much for
Mick.
having me.
It's time for trivia. You ready for trivia?
Let's go.
Yeah?
Here we go.
Your knowledge is on point. I'm not worried. What creature pulls the Beauxbaton carriage when it arrives at Hogwarts?
I'm going to say they're Pegasi, right?
That's like yeah, they are.
Unicorns?
No.
No,
You think so
winged
well.
horses.
Yes, they
is
are
there,
winged
is there
horses.
a name for it? Oh,
Yeah.
is that what it's just called?
Abraxans.
Abraxans.
Yeah.
That's the name of winged horses.
Yeah.
I like Pegasi better.
Pegasi is really good, and I'm a big fan of Pegasus. What unusual solution did the effects team use to create Harry's webbed hands underwater?
Multiple choice, please.
Was it A, latex gloves? Was it B, silicone prosthetics? Or was it C, stretch tights glued between the fingers?
I'm going to say stretch tights glued between the fingers.
It is. And
Okay.
if you pause it and look, you can see that they are like tights. It's really interesting. What was the main reason the filmmakers ultimately chose CGI over prosthetics for Voldemort's nose?
I think it's because they wanted to give Rafe more freedom to act, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't want any prosthetics to impact his performance.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at your knowledge.
Mm.
How did Ralph Fiennes help Daniel Radcliffe get into character during the graveyard scene? Did he A, coach him on his wand movements and spells? Did he B, shout insults at Dan Radcliffe off camera to provoke real anger? Or did he C, avoid all contact so that Dan Radcliffe could act naturally?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I hope it was C and not the other ones.
You're wrong. He shouted insults at Dan Radcliffe off camera.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Dan.
Which I love.
Insults.
I know. What do you think he called him?
Do you think anyone recorded this? I want to see this.
That's really good. It's maybe not as good as the last one, but I'm going to give you just the 200 points.
Okay. Can you give me negative house points? Is that a thing?
Now, if any of you out there want to try your hand at trivia, you can visit harrypotter.com/quiz to test your knowledge. Good luck. And the trolley has magically appeared. So I'm going to reward your hottest take, or if you have any burning questions or any weird fan theories, I'm going to give you something very sweet off the trolley.
Ooh.
So what have you got for me?
Imagine dark alleyway.
Uh-huh.
A muggle is being chased by an evil dark wizard.
Okay.
Dark wizard captures that muggle, is about to torture them, when, out of nowhere, an aura comes out, disarms the dark wizard, saves the muggle.
Expelliarmus.
Uh-huh. The muggle's like, thank you. And then the hooded aura figure takes off the hood. It's adult Cho Chang.
Wait, what?
I feel like in the future, Cho Chang is a badass dark wizard hunter, because she has had so much trauma from these movies. First, she is being asked out by the chosen one, Harry Potter, but no, she's with Cedric. Cedric dies. Oh my God, right? When you're 14 years old, you're get killed, murdered.
Yeah.
Who picks her up again in the next movie? Harry. Harry's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be with you now. Like, okay, maybe things are looking bright again, right? Harry drops her like a rock. Twice in a row, right? And then on top of that, with the Dumbledore's army, they all think that she's the one who did it, but she didn't, right? She's the one that outed them, but she was keeping the secret. So now everyone distrusts her. So she has all this trauma of betrayal. And all of it's because of these dark witches and wizards. I think in the future, Cho Chang is a badass dark wizard hunter.
I mean, it's a great theory that we will never be able to prove, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I think she's actually really good in Dumbledore's army, when they're practicing. We see her, she's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
She gets a bit nervous around Harry.
Yeah.
But I can see it, So,
yeah.
But we know that Harry and Ron become auras.
So then they team up with her sometimes too.
Yeah, do you think that they're all in the same department at the Ministry of Magic?
But every time Harry comes along, she's like, hello, Harry. And
he's
like,
you think he's holding a grudge from fourth year?
Yeah.
From fifth year?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, I think she will have...
Is anything going on between you and Ginny? No. Lies. Lies. Liza Minnelli.
Okay, yeah. I think that's good. I will give you something sweet off the trolley. What would you like?
Ooh. I want to see what other wizard cards I can get.
You're not getting another chocolate frog.
Listen,
surely.
that's how they get you. You know.
All right, fine, take it.
All right, boom. I'm no better than Ron. I need to collect all of them.
I don't really have a hot take. I just have a question about the prefect's bathroom. Why have they got like a team-sized tub? Why does this room exist? Why is it so big?
Yeah.
Why are there so many different perfumes?
Right, because it's cross cross house, right?
Yeah.
And all of them use that.
Yeah.
We know how to get into the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
For
his basilisk.
Through the plumbing.
Yeah.
So he was talking to the plumber and was like, you know what?
While you're there.
Put in a hot tub. Put in a hot tub.
I really love the idea of a hot tub in Hogwarts. Why?
One day, someone might need it.
So basically, that is my burning question. Why is there a massive, massive, massive bathtub in Hogwarts for the prefects? We don't know. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I am going to take a Fizzing Whiz because you said they were so good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, go for it. Yep.
Delicious.
Ooh.
Amazing. All right. Trolley, you can go now. You've done your job. Thank you. So that's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, a film that starts with a World Cup final and ends with a graveyard showdown. Mike, thank you so much for joining me on this journey through all of the trials and tribulations of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Thank you so much for having me, and long live Lord Voldemort. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. The Slytherin slipped out again. I mean, poor Harry. Poor Harry.
Up next in our series, we're revisiting Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix as we find Harry in trouble with the law just in time for the start of 5th year. Join us on our film-by-film look back through the series as we rewatch every Harry Potter film on HBO Max. And in the meantime, we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts and keep up with the latest from us on social media at Harry Potter. We'll be checking the comments to dissect your burning questions and your hottest takes. Until then, keep your friends in order. And whatever you do, do not practice magic outside of school grounds, even if your life depends on it.
Bye.
Dementors a little whinging. Whatever next? The whole world's gone topsy-turvy.
I don't understand. How do you know about...
Dumbledore asked me to keep an eye on you.
Dumbledore? You know Dumbledore?
After you know who killed that poor Diggory boy last year, did you expect him to let you go wandering around on your own? Good Lord, boy. They told me you were intelligent. Now, get inside and stay there. Expect someone will be in touch soon. Whatever happens, don't leave the house.
Harry Potter, the official film podcast, is produced by HBO Max in partnership with Pod People. This podcast is hosted by me, Rhianna Dhillon. Our head writer and lead producer is Angela Palladino, and our associate producer is Emily Mansfield. Our line producer and production manager is Hannah Pedersen, casting by Brianna Frapart. Production design done by Liz Klakowski and her team Kevin Fallon, Marcel Banks, Jeff Cross, and Amelia Caceres. Our technical director is In-Sung Huang, along with camera operator Nick Gregorio. Our studio audio engineer is Frank Galvan. Hair and makeup by Ali Elizabeth. Production assistants by Sam Sanders IV and Cameron Robson. Our video editor is Susanna Vasquez, and the show is mixed by Carter Wogan and Marina Pais. From the HBO Max podcast team, Alison Cohen-Sorokach, Michael Gluckstadt, Becky Rowe, Kenya Reyes, and Erin Kelly. Special thanks to Emily Brandon and Reese Allgood from the Harry Potter digital team. Thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.